Hello, everybody. Today I am doing a tutorial on combustion of planets. This is a very important aspect of Vedic astrology, and two areas I'm going to talk about. Planets that are combust in the natal chart and planets that get combust by transit. I'm Komilla Sutton, and today the topic is combustion. Combustion is a very key thing that we should study in the chart. What happens is that when the planets get too close to the sun, they become combust. So basically, what that is from an astronomical point of view is that they are rising during the day, so they are not visible to everybody. So we have to see them. We can't see them. And therefore, whatever their quality is, that quality gets hidden behind the sun. So it's like this greater power. Sun is the brightest, biggest planet and the most dominating planet. So a planet gets hidden behind it, and therefore it is no longer able to function independently, because it gets dominated, in some cases even bullied into hiding themselves. So studying combust planet is in your birth chart if your planet, any planet is combust. And then secondly, you can also study it by transit. And I, as part of my transit planetary news situation, I'm always talking about when planets are combust and how to deal with them. So the first thing to see is in your chart is that are any planets combust, and which are the planets that get combust actually. So moon, because moon will not get combust. We have the new moon, which is close to the sun. And in a way, it's the same thing. It's too close to the sun. It doesn't get any light from the sun, so the energy is hidden. So, but we don't call this combustion. Combustion is created for 5 planets only, and the 5 planets that are ruling the 5 great elements. So we have Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn. These are the 5 planets that can get combust, and therefore they can feel the heat of the sun, and they are not visible in the sky when they are combust. So when you're seeing in your own chart, you will see that sun and the planets are too close to the sun. Now, what you have to think here is that in Vedic astrology, we have certain degrees for the sun. So I'm going to give you the degrees. These are all in my book, The Essentials of Vedic Astrology. This is my first book that I wrote. And so I have on page 33 of it, the degrees of combustion. So moon, which is when it's close to the sun, 12 degrees close to the sun, it is regarded as combust. Although I don't really look at the moon as combustion. Mars is 17 degrees, Mercury is 13 degrees, Jupiter 11, Venus 9, and Saturn 15 degrees. My book is available from Amazon. It's been there for many years, so many of you have already got it, and other book retailers. So the degrees of the planet. So this is the degree of combustion. And this is very important because when the planet comes closer and closer, the more impact it is. And the closest it is, then it means that it is totally combust, and it is totally, the energy has been taken over by the sun. So of course, Venus and Mercury go close to the sun, but they will also experience the combustion. Maybe they are able to handle it a bit better, Sometimes people say in classical astrology that when a planet is exactly conjunct the sun, it is called Kazimi, and therefore it has extra power. But I feel that there is some loss of energy, and we still have to look at that. Now, you should look at if your Lagna Lord is combust, because that means, or your Moon Lord is combust, because it means that the energy is all hidden behind and it's not expressing itself fully. Every planet will get combust once a year. In Sanskrit, it's called ast. That means it has set and it is going to be reborn. So one of the aspects of combustion you can also think is that the planet is going back to the source of its energy, and it gets infused with new energy when it is going getting combust and going on the other side. And so that is one aspect. And secondly, of course, that it gets hidden from the naked eye, so we are not totally understanding it. And thirdly, when you have a combust planet, it's very fast moving at the time of your birth, and it is hidden. So it is sometimes too much energy is there, but it doesn't know how to bring it out. Always there's some obstruction because the sun is creating the obstruction and not giving the full energy. So Mars combustion, it means that Mars is friendly with the sun, but still it can get too close. It can become super heated up, and it is hidden behind the sun. You have to see what houses Mars rules in your chart. Then accordingly, those areas of your chart will be affected. Mercury combustion, it is most likely to happen because Mercury combusts 6 times a year. And so therefore, whenever I am looking at Mercury in anybody's chart, this is the first thing I'm seeing, is it combust or not? And Mercury's combustion degree is 13 degrees away from the sun. So you do need to see whether it is combust or not. And especially if it is too close to the sun, then in interpretation, you'll also say that the person is overthinking their issues. They're too fast. They burn out very quickly. They are speeding ahead with their thoughts, and they need time to calm down and rest and relax. Jupiter combustion, Jupiter is the guru. In all combustion areas, sun benefits with the combustion, because what it's doing is taking your energy. He will give some to you, but he's taking your energy. So in Jupiter's combustion, you can see that Jupiter karakas regarding children, regarding husband, two things, and money as well. Jupiter's karaka for second house, guru. All these areas can get affected. Your desire for any one of them has to be kind of passed through some authority. You can't do it yourself. And so Jupiter combust doesn't mean you won't have children, but it can cause some heated energy within you, can cause some issues that can create problems. Venus combustion means that you are relationships are suffering, because Venus is the karaka for marriage and relationships. And if sun has taken the energy, this is heated up relationships, argument, discussion, not able to deal with the situation. And Venus also will be very fast. So all the planets get speeded up when they're close to the sun, but Venus especially be very hot and passionate relationship, but they can burn out. Your issues get put behind what the sun represents in your chart. And finally, Saturn combustion. Now, Saturn is the only planet that also creates problems for the sun. So when you have Sun-Saturn tight conjunction, that means Sun also loses something and Saturn also loses something. So Sun-Saturn, I'm just going to give you the exact degrees of separation. And generally, Sun-Saturn is 15 degrees away. But I would not be concerned about Sun Saturn degrees in the sense that if Sun Saturn are together in the same sign, then they are going to be troublesome, especially with authority, with father. Sun is Karaka for father, and Saturn is Karaka for work and responsibility. So both areas will suffer, and Saturn affects the Sun, Sun affects Saturn. And basically, Saturn is still hidden behind, but he can be very angry and frustrated because his authority is not being expressed and worked at. But always Sun-Saturn conjunction will be a difficult relationship with father. Now, Rahu Ketu, we will not look at as a combustion, that's a conjunction. So conjunction is togetherness, combustion is when they get too close together and the light of the sun is taking away the light or the energy of the other planet, and therefore creating some unusual conditions. And a very important aspect to judge in any chart and look at planets that are combust, and then being conscious of it, because it is really that your issues are hidden behind the sun, and your aspect, who you are, is not being recognized. And as I said right at the beginning, that the main aspect here is the combustion of the Lagna Lord. So if the Lagna Lord is combust, that means that you feel hidden, and it's very easy for you to also get bullied by people in authority, and also the combustion of Lagna Lord can affect the health. Finally, you may not have combust planets, but you can experience them by a transit. Mercury combusts 6 times a year. So your thinking, your analytical skills, 6 times a year are working too fast. They are hidden behind. They're not being recognized. But Mercury sometimes can also come ahead of the sun. So that is a rare transit, and I will be talking about that in my planetary news section. So you can see that when it goes ahead. But mostly the combustion is very often for Mercury. And the rest of the planets is once a year, unless they are retrograding, and they retrograde, especially Venus will retrograde with the sun, and it is an evening star, and it retrograde back to a morning star. And so that aspect or change of its visibility happens with Venus retrograde. And Jupiter usually retrogrades opposite, even Mars will retrograde opposite. But it is important to see the time of exact combustion every year. And as I said, that is, as part of my planetary news, I will be talking about the combustion of each planet. So thanks again for listening. All the best. Check out my website, komilla.com.